Welcome back to a new episode of the Peak Signing Agents podcast and YouTube channel. I'm here with a special friend guest. Her name is Lara Tasadri from NotaryZoom, based out of California. Lara, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you on here. And I mean, you've been a signing service owner for a long time. You have been someone that I've looked up to for a very long time. I didn't even know much about running a signing service. I was working with signing service, but I didn't know that I could start one until one year I was at a LSS conference and I met you and Kimberly and we were talking. And I was like, oh my goodness, maybe I should be starting a signing service. And so you really actually help inspire me to do that. So I want to thank you first of all as we
Ah,
get on here.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, and you gave me a lot of tips when you first started. I remember I'm like, what platform are you using and why? And it got me, thinking about different things and choosing the platform that I currently use. So anyway, you gave me a lot of tips in the beginning, and I appreciate that as I
I
started
have
my signing
watched
service.
you grow. I have watched your podcast. You may not know that. And
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
just so happy for you. I really am. You're doing an amazing job out there. So good for you.
Oh, appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Well, let me ask you first of all, starting off, when you were growing up, did you always want to be a notary and signing service owner?
No, no. I kind of laugh because when I was a teenager, I told my parents I wanted to be a suit.
A
So,
suit?
as just a suit.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, just
Yeah.
in corporate
I wanted to
America.
be in business. Yes. I
Okay,
don't know, and it's not something that teenagers, I guess, tell their parents very often, but
it's
I
not,
wanted to
yeah,
be, working girl Melanie Griffith. I don't know why, but I was always business inclined.
yeah.
I just didn't really know what I wanted to do yet. And I actually I have a degree in international business
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
Japanese. And I was going to move to Japan, which I did. And then I ended up meeting my husband, so I came back.
Okay,
We were traveling. And yeah, and then I just kind of fell into underwriting. I fell into mortgage, and then it kind of went from there. And so I was loan processing. The market shifted in '07, and I was not making any money. So I thought, well, I'll just try this notary thing. And because I already knew the loan docs, I knew the loan officers. And so I started signing on the weekends after work, and
okay,
I ended up loving it.
all right. I like that you were business inclined in the beginning, and that you like,
Yeah.
Working Girl Melanie Griffith movie. I mean, you're saying that's weird. For me, I don't find that weird at all. I always was drawn to that as well, like the business world as well, and I tell people. I think if you're a real entrepreneur, that there's always been those tendencies, you're attracted to that. You like that idea of being professional. And yeah, that
Yeah.
makes total sense to me. When you were
Yeah.
working in the loan industry, what were you doing exactly? You were processing, is that what you were
I
doing?
was a loan processor and an originator
Oh,
part-time.
okay.
Most of my brokerages would let me originate as well. So I was a full-time processor, but I also brought in loans. I originated, and then sometimes the boss would give me loans and just tell me to go. So it was awesome. I got a little bit of everything in the mortgage industry.
Ah,
And I loved it. I loved it. It's kind of like a puzzle. I don't know if you know much about processing, but I loved the puzzle part of it. And you fit this part over here and the income over here and the assets, and you
okay.
kind of fit what they wanted. I love that part of it. But I really wanted to be self-employed. I really wanted to run my own business. I just didn't know how. And I
Okay.
honestly never, ever thought I would. I never thought I would figure out how to run a signing service. I wanted a signing service because when I was a loan processor, there were two ladies that ran a signing service. They were the only signing
Oh,
service I'd ever heard of back in '05, '06. And they were the wives of the brokerage owners, the
oh,
two guys that owned the brokerage. And so I learned a lot from them, but God, I really wanted to do that. They worked from home. They were sitting on the beach one day. We were in Southern California, and I thought, oh my God, this would be amazing. But never in a million years did I think I would have my own signing service.
that's interesting. And
Yeah.
so you started. Is that where you first heard about becoming a notary or signing agent was from them?
Yeah, well, I used to, as a loan processor, I used to be the one way back when there were no signing services that I knew of other than this one. And it was the loan processor, at least in SoCal, that would call the notary, interview the notary, send them out, review the docs. We didn't really have escrow doing that. I did it
Okay.
all. So I already knew
Oh,
how to do all that part. I just didn't know any of the back end or how to start a business, or there were really no platforms back then.
got
So
it.
it was just an Excel spreadsheet, call the notary. This is when you pay them, that type of thing. But again, I really didn't even know where to start or what I needed for a signing service. So I never thought this would happen.
So how did you learn that?
For how to become a signing service?
Yeah, or how to become a signing agent?
Oh, a signing agent. Well, I was already in the business. And so I knew signing agents that I would call. I already knew the loan docs.
Yeah.
For me, the loan docs that was an easy
So
transition.
you were like, okay, I already understand this.
Yeah,
I
I
already know
already
how to
got that
read the
part.
document. So then you
Yeah.
said, I want to make extra money, or you're like,
Yes.
this is was it for extra money, or this was like this is my pathway to entrepreneurship?
Oh no, it was totally extra money. Yeah.
Okay, all
So the
right.
market crashed. I'm sitting at home. Now I'm working from home as a loan processor, but I am not making any money. Like it
Okay,
just completely, the market was gone. And so I thought, well, I need some sort of way to supplement my income. Maybe I'll just do the side gig for a little while
got it.
and I'll just notarize nights and weekends for my loan officers. And yeah, and then I realized that I really loved it. I really loved being my own boss, making my own schedule. I didn't mind talking to the loan officers and then marketing to new escrow officers wherever I was living at the time. But again, never thought I could do it full time. I had no idea you could do this full time and
Yeah.
make money at it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you were not a notary yet, but when what year did the market crash at this time?
Oh, 07.
Okay, so it was right
Yeah.
before the whole
Yeah.
industry as a whole went
Yes.
down.
So
Okay, so
'07 I started. I was in Arizona and I was just part-time for extra income. Moved back to California in '08, became a California notary. And again, I had been in the industry for probably 09, 10 years at this point.
okay.
Still had no idea you could do this full time and make money. Not a clue.
Uh-huh.
So it's really funny to me then, I went to my first LSS conference and I saw some of the notaries up on stage and I went, oh my God, they're making $8,000 a month. This is insane. And so, opened my eyes completely.
You're like, okay, I can, all right, maybe I
Yeah,
should
yeah. Maybe
transition.
I just want to get to 8,000. That would just be amazing. Change my whole world.
Yeah, like I mean that's like, 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so this is when you quit working in loans?
Yes, I actually went through until 2013
Okay.
because I ended up with a 3-year-old and brand new twins.
Uh-huh.
And so I sort of had to leave the industry.
Got it.
And but then I would sign part time just to kind of keep
Uh-huh.
us going, get me out of the house. It was perfect, right? I've got 3 little ones at home. This is a perfect side gig. Again,
Yeah.
still didn't know I could do this full time. So I did it for years. And then when all of them went back to school, I told my husband, if I could just make a couple thousand a month, that's all I need.
Right.
And I won't have to go back to mortgage. I loved mortgage,
Exactly.
but God, I want to try this. And so we agreed if I could just make 2,500 a month, that's it. Just
Okay.
to get us through that I could do this and not have to go back to my real job.
Yes.
And off it went.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you learn about then marketing direct? Were you marketing to title escrow, mortgage companies?
So I had the advantage of being experienced with loan docs, and then I
Uh-huh.
had experience. I had been signing for almost 10 years at this point.
Okay.
So I could walk into escrow. I still had no idea how to market effectively, but I would
Uh-huh.
walk into escrow and say, I've been signing for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. And I knew that I was supposed to drop docs in the morning. And a lot
Yes.
of notaries, when they market, they still use FedEx. They don't know that if you're marketing locally, you should mention this.
Right.
And so oh my God, I was so nervous. I would come in and I would drop my cards and I would run out and I wouldn't take any time. I didn't think they really wanted to hear from me. And so I got my first phone call. I remember my first phone call. I'm still friends with this escrow officer. And I could not believe that she called me. She called me within 24 hours and I started signing for her. And then the next escrow officer started, calling me. And every morning I would go drop docs. And then I realized dropping docs in the morning was a huge plus. The fact that I started incorporating that into my spiel when I would walk in. And I
Yeah.
had the next office, I told them, I drop docs in the morning, I'll be here by 8:30. And I remember very vividly her saying to me, "Wait, you drop documents?" And I said, "Doesn't everybody?" And
Uh-huh.
she goes, "No, even our local notaries will just throw into FedEx." And I went, "No, I will be here every morning at 8:30,
Yeah.
whatever you need me." And she called me within 2 hours. And so I
Wow.
started my business like that, but I couldn't get any further. I had a few offices that were direct.
Uh-huh.
So I was signing for them, but I couldn't get past the hump. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I went into offices and I would tell them, I'll do my first signing for you for free. I'll charge $80, like whatever you need. And I
Yeah.
realized later that that doesn't work. And I wasn't saying what I should be saying. I wasn't bringing in treats. I wasn't perfecting my speech to
Hitch.
them
Yeah.
quite effectively. And I was still nervous. I was still new with the
Hey,
marketing.
right.
And so when I learned that, that's when my business took off.
So, I mean, I'm writing notes here. So you were saying you go into market and you were feeling super nervous.
Yeah.
How would you break that barrier and still go in though?
So I kind of joke because I had a girlfriend that I
Okay.
met through the Notary Symposium, which was Laura Buer's Notary Symposium
Oh,
that she used to do. And that was my very first conference, a small conference. And we just clicked immediately. She had the same background. Her name is Samantha Batanzos. She's also in this industry, predominantly very well known, I guess I would say, in California in this industry. And we just hit it off immediately. And I would call her in the morning and I would say, "I've got 5 or 6 offices. I'm ready to go. And I can't get
yeah.
out of the car."
Okay.
And she would go, "Bleed, bleed, 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 get out of the car right now, go. And then call me as soon as you're done." So I had someone that would push me when I
Good.
just was feeling really nervous. And it worked. And then she would do the same thing. She would be like, I can't make myself go market today." And I said, "You need to hit 2 offices today. Just go get them over with." But I will say that when you're nervous, because I'm an introvert, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of energy for me to get out there and get in front of people. And um, I would say that after I did my first office, I usually got such a positive reaction and so much positive feedback that it would propel me that I could do the next one and I could do the now I'm excited. I'm going to do the next one and the next one until, the time runs out and I can't do anymore that day. But there would be times I would have 4, 5, and then I'd be running home and I see another title company over here and I'm out of treats. So I'd run over to Rayleigh's or run over to the bakery and grab more treats because at this point I'm so excited and it's been so much fun that I keep going. But at that first office is the hardest and it's always been the hardest for me. So I've
Yes.
learned that if I buy perishable treats,
Mm-hmm.
it gets me out the door because I've just spent all of this money and
Right.
it's only going to last a day or two. I have to go now.
And you
So
can't
that
eat
is
it all.
my little trick to get me to go.
That's good. Well, you actually got a few great tricks that I wrote down. I like that you had a colleague. And you can call it whatever you want. You can have it a accountability partner,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. But I
Yes.
like that you had somebody. I call it your hype man. That was your
Yeah.
hype woman in this example
Yeah.
here, and she was your hype woman, and she got you all
Yeah.
hyped up, and whatever motivated you to get out there and do it,
Yeah.
and but you did it for her as well.
Hmm.
I like that. You said you're naturally an introvert. People might be shocked to hear that I am also naturally an introvert, but
Yeah.
I knew I had to train myself to be an extrovert. And it was very uncomfortable in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're sharing right now how uncomfortable it was for you that you couldn't even get out of your car. You had to call a
Yeah.
friend and say, I can't get out of my car.
Yeah.
But you just have to learn, like, hey, I got to do that. I just have to do it. I have no other choice because you don't want to go back to the corporate America. You told your husband, we got this at 2,500 a month. I don't want to do this again. And then I like how you just said it. But once you do it that one time, though, you just got to get out of that car the first time. Then it gets easier.
It
It
does.
becomes what you said, fun.
Yeah.
It became fun. And I always say, if you can do it once, you can do it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is that first one. You just have to get rolling on that first one.
Yeah. And I used
Oh,
to
that's
tell
great.
myself sometimes I still get nervous and I'm fine now once I get in. But there are times when I still get nervous and I tell myself, let's just drive over there. We'll just go
Okay.
see where it is because most of
Yeah.
it is the unknown. So I'll
Yeah.
drive over there and I'll sit in the parking lot. I'll put my treats in my bag just in case.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll walk inside the building and I'll kind of find the office
Yes.
just in case. And then I'll open the door and see if people look nice, and then once you
Right.
open the door and they see you, you have to go in.
Yes.
And then I go. So
I
yeah,
I am internally laughing so loud because I
yeah,
am exactly the same way. Let me just go find the office first. Okay, here,
yeah,
where would I park? I'm gonna go park here.
yeah,
All right, where is our office located in this building? Oh, there's their
yeah.
sign. Okay, there they are. Oh, there's somebody in there right now. I'm
Do
laughing
you
so
really? I
loud.
thought I was the only
Yes.
one that did that.
No, I'm laughing so hard. I do the exact same thing. Anyone listening or viewing, if you feel that, just know you're not the only one. You're listening from two very successful signing service owners, and we still feel
Yeah,
the same way.
yeah. Most of it is just the unknown.
Yeah.
And then once I do it, I write down in my form the likes, dislikes, things they've said. And then I go, I can do that now because I know them now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just experienced this last week. This just happened last week. I went to a company, drove around their building. It was in downtown Salt Lake City. It was hard to find parking. I couldn't figure out where to go. And so I was like, okay, all right, okay, here's a building. All right, I'm gonna come back another time. I'm gonna find where to park another time. I'm gonna come with something. I'm gonna come back, next week. I found the building. I scoped it out. Okay, I think I'll park here. This is gonna be a paid parking area. Okay, I'm gonna be prepared next time. I'm gonna find the floor. Found the floor number. The next day, that someone from that office called me, and they said, "Hey, you work with our other offices." And I just had a question. I said, "Hey, so funny enough, I was actually in your area yesterday, and I was drove by your building, and I just didn't know where to park.
Yeah.
Where would I park? Because I want to come visit you guys." And she said, "Oh, this is where you're gonna park." And she told me where to park. So now this week I'm gonna go there, and I know where to park now. But I was just staking them out just the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I have my routes. Chat GPT now will tell me the best route to take and
Oh.
how long it will take to each one. And if I do 10 or 15 minutes, it's
Hmm.
amazing. So I use Chat GPT now.
That's interesting. So you're going to Chat GPT and you're saying, um, if people are going to use this, you're putting in the exact verbiage. I want to go to these offices. What's the best route? Is that how you're doing it?
Yes, I want to hit these 10 offices in 2 days. What is the
Okay.
best route to take? Which way should I go? And how long will it take? And it will
Wow.
do a whole map for
And
me.
you're doing the office names or the exact addresses?
The office company name and the
Uh-huh.
address. I just copy and paste
Wow.
from the website.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I like that. And so people listening, I'm just in shock. Hold on, I'm just internalizing this. This is genius. Very genius. So I'm internalizing this. So yeah, people listening, Chat GPT, you're gonna say, I want to go visit these offices. What's the best? Here's the names and addresses. What is the best route and how long will it take? And then give it probably 5 seconds. And boom, you got it calculated. Here's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Wow, that is good. That is really good.
Yeah. So I don't have to sit there and figure out, okay, I need to go here and then I go here. It will tell me, and then it'll tell me how long it'll take. So now I know I have to break it up into 2 days because traffic and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And all right, that's good. How long did it take you there when you and your husband said that 2,500 a month? How long did it take you to get that, you think?
Oh, um, probably within a few months. But
Yeah.
again, I used my experience to highlight what I could do for these offices. It only took me a couple months to get 2 or 3 offices established that I was their notary for that office.
Okay.
That part was easy.
Got it. All right. And so you started growing, started making great money, obviously.
Yeah.
At what point did you say, what was the turning point for you to say, okay, now I need to start a citing service?
So we went from, let's see, when I started 2018,
Uh-huh.
I found a certain training school that completely changed the way that I market.
Okay.
We'll just say loan signing system.
All
I
right.
went to my first conference and I was blown away because I thought because I'd been in the industry for so long that I didn't need any help. I
Right.
mean, I got it. I
Yes.
don't need this guy. And someone gave me a ticket and said, you should go and you'd
Okay.
be surprised. And so I went. And I've said this a million times. I sat in the back with my jaw on the floor because I realized I knew maybe 10% of
Right.
what I could have known, not even. And so, I was trained to market better. I was trained to have more confidence, and it's all a process. It's all a
Right.
process. Just keep going and you perfect what you do, whether it's marketing, whether it's loan signing, whether it's training, you kind of learn as you go
Right.
sometimes. So it took me up until, gosh, I guess it was a shorter time than I thought. I started signing service in 2019. Um, and it was through Mark's. He was just starting to train on how to become a signing service. And so Kim and Robin and I all started at the same time. We just decided we probably have enough business at this time. Let's just start slow and see what happens.
Okay.
And we told Mark that we have all these questions. The training doesn't really cover this. So what he did is actually we all flew down to San Diego and we sat with him and his scheduler and he did a whole session. We asked questions and she answered all of the questions and we felt so much better. And
Oh,
then we went
nice.
home and we started.
Wow.
But we started together. It was really nice that we had each other because it's so scary to start a business by yourself and not know, well, how are you doing this? And sometimes some of those little questions just completely stop your business, entirely. You don't know how to move on from there. So it was
Yes.
really nice to have the two of them to bounce ideas off of. And how are you doing this? And how are you pricing this? And what do you do when they say no? That we could move forward. So I had a step up because I had two other friends that were doing it with me.
Right. That's great. And you met them at the conference.
Yeah.
And I agree because, there's so many, if you're going to be an electrician, you can find other electricians to meet up with and talk and help each other out. Plumbers,
Yeah.
accountants, insurance salespeople. I mean, there's lots of people you can go to. Signing services, there's not like a ton of signing
There's
services
nothing.
to just
Yeah.
talk to and communicate with. So it's
Yeah.
so nice that you're able to meet at a conference other people and then build friendships,
Yeah.
which I've done the same thing. We
Hmm.
built relationships with not just signing service owners and to help me out, but also meet great notaries that I can hire. Like I'll be looking for a notary and I'll find some like, oh my gosh, I remember meeting them at a conference. Great. Now I can hire them now because I know they're trying to always do better because they're at conferences.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to go to like conferences. You just learn so much from other
Yeah.
people. And you, like you said, you realized, oh, I only know like 10%. I was the same
Yeah.
way. I saw Mark's course and I didn't take advantage of it. I'm like, I'm making 100,000 with signing services. I'm good. Maybe I need a little bit more information. Then I went to a conference in Vegas and I was like, oh, I know nothing. Like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But and I tell notaries all the time, there are times when I'll go to a conference. I just went to the NNA conference, my first one, and it was
Uh-huh.
great. And I sat at this table, and this notary over here on to my left, she signed for me.
Oh,
Didn't know that.
yeah.
This notary across from me signs for me. This notary over here was shy and she signs for me, but she hadn't said anything yet. So we all start talking at the table.
Yeah.
And I realized 4 out of 5 of these notaries I'm sitting with has signed for me. And it absolutely blew me away
Yeah.
because you just kind of realize every now and then how far you've come. And
Yeah.
it's moments like that when you realize, sometimes you don't feel like you're doing enough or you're involved enough, and you just have these moments where you go, okay, I'm doing okay. I'm not quite, it's hard for an entrepreneur to always be where they think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always that guilt factor that I should be doing more. I should be out there more. I should be
Yes.
signing more. I should be scheduling more. I should be teaching more. And then you have to have those moments where they sort of check you. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
You're doing fine. But it was so nice to meet these notaries and put a face to these people that have signed for me. And they were so professional and they were so open. And we had this lovely chat that I thought, God, I want to use this person more.
Right.
And it really, and I keep telling the notaries, go to these networks, go to these conferences, go to these retreats, whatever you can go to, because once you just like marketing to an escrow officer, they know you, they've seen you online, but once you get to know them, you build that relationship, right?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, it's more fun and you have a connection and you want to talk to them more and you want to use them more. It's the same thing for us when we're marketing. The more you can get in front of them, they can see your personality, they can see how professional you
Right.
are. And sometimes you have a connection or something that's similar that you guys can relate to.
Yes.
It just changes everything. So it was just such a cool experience. But yeah, the same thing you said, go to these conferences, get to know people. If nothing else, and you don't learn anything, you now have these new connections that maybe you didn't have before.
Exactly. And you know, people listening, if you're because they're maybe they're wondering like, okay, Laura made these friends and she had people to go along the same journey path at the same time with her. How do I do that? Well, this is a great opportunity. And there's a lot of like local meetups as well that people don't even know about. Like you can probably find someone local at a
Yes.
local meetup that can maybe you can become friends with, again, colleagues, accountability partner, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
hype man, whatever you want to call it, to
Yeah.
kind of help you and go along at the same time.
You
Yeah,
just never know who's going to be sitting at the table.
that's true. Yeah, so
Yeah.
when you do go, don't be quiet. Don't be a secret agent, you know, don't be James
Yeah.
Bond and be a secret agent. Let people know who you are, where you're from, and and talk.
Yeah.
Get out there and talk. It is cool when I have a local notary here, and at a recent conference, you know, she saw me, so she's kind of hanging out with me, and I was introducing her to some of my friends from other states, and then she just kept talking to them, and now like they're like her number one notary and Ron notary. So anything locally, they go to her first, but now anything wrong, they go right away, they go to her, you know,
Yeah.
because she was around me and then talked. She wasn't just quiet, like, I'm just gonna stand here.
Yeah.
She also talked, and now
Yeah.
she's getting a lot of business.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
don't really have to say much. You just have to say, "Hi, I'm from California. Nice to meet you." And then the
Yeah,
conversation starts. So, yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
I've got a question here
Okay.
because when I have a client ask me questions, for example, like, hey, your California notary, they cross out all this verbiage in the notary block. I'm like, yeah, they can't sign as an entity or as any type of capacity. They have to
Yeah.
sign with, you know, their name has to be in the
Hmm.
block. And like, can you ask the notary this or that? I'm like, no, you can't. They cannot make exceptions. They cannot break the law for you. You have to tell the county recorder's office this is how California law is, and this is how it must be done. There's
Yeah.
I'm not going to find anybody that's willing to break the law. And I got a lot of this information from you. I learned a lot of this from you. And I just kind of look at you as someone that really knows California law. I know you got the inside with California. How did that begin? How did you get into where you are really trying to help not just notaries, but you know, California notaries know their laws and other notaries, but how did you get into that role?
So I've always been intrigued by notary basics, notary law. When I
Uh-huh.
first got into loan signings, I didn't know my laws at all. I made
Okay.
so many mistakes. I joke that I stamped the Patriot Act a few times. I did do that.
Okay.
I wouldn't touch general notary work because it scared me, because you could show
Uh-huh.
up and they could hand you anything and you don't know
Right.
what it is and you don't know what to do with it. So I would not get anywhere near it. And then once I started training for California, I was in the NorCal group and I was
Uh-huh.
training for California. A notary would ask a question and I always wanted to know the answer, no matter what. I want to know what it is. And so I went through the handbook and I would find the answer. I have been an NNA member for since 2007. So constantly, I feel like they know me. Hi, Lara.
Yeah.
um, but I was always, I just wanted to know. And so I started to know the laws pretty well. And then in 2020, I co-founded Notary Academy,
Uh-huh.
and I felt like the biggest issue that we had, and I don't know if this is the same for every state, but when we would see our scans come back through signing service, most of the docs are pretty well filled out correctly, but the notary certificates, and I still see this today, where the notary certificates aren't great. And it's
Hmm.
because there's such a lack of training in most states,
Right.
so many gray areas that I thought I need to do something about this. This really bothers me because capacity is left in the notary certificates. They're not signing their name correctly. It doesn't match the name on their stamp. They don't know that they can change the date or the venue. Um, they don't know that they don't even know what an out of state certificate is or what it means. I've seen notaries attach extra verbiage to the body of the certificate. I have seen some crazy stuff. And a lot of it is for notaries that have been signing for 10 years.
Huh.
But because no one knows the laws, no one has told them that you can't do this and you have to do this. And so every single week when I call a notary, we always make them scan because I don't care if you've been signing 20 years, there's probably
Right.
something I could help you with. And they tell me every week, no one's ever told me this before. And I said,
Wow.
that's because they don't know. But I promise you, I do
Yeah.
know my laws. You know, you don't need to do all of this stuff. Just make sure you're doing this. And so I just love it. I love notarial law. And it's because I think because so many people have such a hard time with it, it makes me want to do it more. It makes me want to
Right.
train more. And again, as we talked earlier, the better these notaries are, the better that I am as a signing service and the
Exactly.
less liability I have as a signing service.
Right.
So it's really important to me that these notaries do know their laws.
You're so right. I mean, we're dealing, especially with loan signs, we're dealing with huge transactions. And if you don't follow the laws and things are amiss or forgotten or not done properly, that might hinder the whole transaction. And it's on your hands as the notary to make sure it's done properly and to
Yep.
follow your state laws and make sure you do it. Even I'm surprised when I see like a split signing. And one of my escrow officers did one party and I'm doing the second party. And I can see like even my escrow officer didn't follow, because they're more involved into what's title and escrow law,
Yeah.
forgetting about notary law. I'm like, you didn't even put their name down. It's just you just said you just
Yeah.
who which of the two parties did you notarize? You left it
Yeah.
just
Yes.
empty. Like you have to
Yeah.
write in their name or something. And so I'm surprised how many of even my clients, but how many overall, like you said, don't even know the correct law. And for me, it was also important. I wanted to make sure I followed. I didn't want to be held liable for anything. I didn't want to get sued or be taken to court or anything. Like I wanted to know my laws inside and out. So it was
Right.
important for me as well.
Yeah. And I tell notaries, you can miss a signature, you can miss a stamp, you can
Right.
miss something on the loan docs, but if you don't notarize properly, if you don't recognize out of state certificates, if you don't ID properly, this is what's going to get you pulled into court. The entire notarization could be invalid, like a will and a trust.
Uh-huh.
Grandma's now passed away. 4 years later, they're trying to take over the trust and they can't because it was notarized improperly. This is the reason that you're going to get pulled into court and sued is your notary
Yeah.
laws.
Yes. Speaking of, lawful situations, I remember seeing posts that you made of somebody trying to copy your notary stamp.
Yes.
Yeah. What happened with that, or how does that get out there? Or how can
Still
people listening or
ongoing.
viewing avoid that?
So don't show your stamp online. Don't post your
Hmm.
stamp anywhere because the reason that it hasn't gone through this notarization. So it is a passport that's circulating from a woman in India. Apparently has this multi-million-dollar property.
Okay.
And it started probably 6 years ago. I got a WhatsApp message and I just ignored it because I thought it was spam.
Uh-huh.
And they kept contacting me. And I finally looked at it and it was a copy of a passport. And then it was stamped with my stamp, even though my name was misspelled. And
Huh.
then it was my signature, but again, misspelled. And it wasn't even a notary certificate.
Wow.
And so they said, ma'am, is this your notarization? We're the real estate agents, we're the attorneys. It's every 6 months I get the same notarization. And then it says, there's some sort of like Sacramento, California stamp on it or something like that. And every single time now I know when someone sends me a WhatsApp and they send me the picture, they're trying to figure out what's happening. But
Hmm.
because they've noticed irregularities in my name. It's misspelled, which, not a smart scammer.
Right.
But because they don't have my stamp, this property has not been sold fraudulently.
Okay.
And I do really feel like if they could figure out how to find my stamp, now obviously they could figure it out, but
Sure.
I suspect they're not in the industry and they don't know how to do that. Which is also why I don't say online how to find my stamp.
Good.
Um, but because of that, I do think that I'm not pulled into court for this.
Oh, good.
So it just happens, and it happens probably more than we even know. That's, I mean, most of the time it's a property that's outside of the country or it's
Yeah.
vacant land, but don't make it easier for the scammers,
Yeah. So
you
don't
know?
post pictures of your stamp with your
No,
information.
no, none of it.
Good.
Don't put your signature online. I know everyone's excited and they want to go, look, here's my stamp. You know, here's my first
Yes.
notarization. Here's my notary book. But yeah, it makes me really nervous every time I see that.
Yeah, I think most notaries are aware of like keeping other people's information confidential, but don't
Yeah.
forget to keep also your information
Yeah.
confidential.
It's kind of important. It really does
Yes.
affect everybody, though. It's not just you. You know,
Right.
this poor woman who knows what she's been going through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And speaking on this subject, everyone just be careful. I've been getting random emails in the last couple weeks, just in the last couple weeks, some random emails. I'm like, oh, hey, here's the documents for our client, and there's a link. I'm like, wait, who are you? Like, I don't
Yeah.
recognize your name, or this email address looks a little personal, like from a, Yahoo account. Like,
Yeah.
what? And so
Yeah.
I don't click them, just mark them as spam. I'm like, if it's that important, they'll follow up and say, hey, did you get my email?
Right.
So be careful. So I know sometimes notaries get excited when they're new and like, oh, finally a job. Hey, be careful.
Yeah.
Don't just be clicking on links.
Yes.
Yeah, be careful out there.
I always tell them, please call me to discuss this signing. Please call me to discuss these documents.
Oh,
Nine
good.
times out of 10, they don't call. If they
Uh-huh.
do call, it's always been legit. So, no, I did send it to you. I heard about you, blah, blah, blah. This is
Yeah,
what I need you to do. If they will call me, then it's legitimate and I'll do it.
good. Yeah, that's great. I mean, speaking of giving these tips, if knowing what you know now, if you were going to start brand new today, you just got your commission, you're like, okay, I'm going to be a signing agent. What is something you would tell yourself or a new notary slash signing agent?
You don't know as much as you think you do.
That's a good one.
I would say number one, it's so important to take this seriously and take training. So many people, and I understand, kind of like me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start and do this part time. But it is so, there's so much that you need to know. Even if you've been a general notary work notary, everything but loans for 10, 15
Yeah,
years. Loans are so different than general notary work. Even
right,
in the name that you put in your notary certificate, the color of the pen, how you print, please
right.
take training. Take this seriously because one negative review can ruin everything. It's really hard to recover from that. You're working with people that really rely on you. It could be a purchase. They could have moving trucks in the driveway. They're waiting for this to go
Yes,
through. They expect that you know how to sign loan documents.
that's exactly right.
So please take training. Don't wing it. Don't just watch a couple YouTube videos and think that you're going to do it. And that's my biggest issue is these notaries that go, I know what I'm doing. I don't need your help. If you're a new notary and I need you and I've called you, it's because I need you.
Right.
I'm happy to go on Zoom with you. I'll go over loan documents with you. Like we'll put stickies on everything that you need to sign. I will
Yeah,
go over everything you need for that signing, but tell me you're new
right.
because if you don't and you embellish or flat out lie and say you've done 1,000 signings and I find out very quickly this is your first signing with your scam backs, now we have a problem. I can lose offices over this. I
Exactly.
can have an escrow officer that's so upset because everything went wrong at the table. I can lose that office. And so that's my
Yes.
biggest issue as a signing service. Tell the truth. I know it's hard in the beginning and you want signings.
Right.
Take anything and everything. Take training. You have to know your notary laws. You have to have some loan signing agent training. There's lots of good schools out there.
Uh-huh.
Figure out which one, you like with your personality. Monthly, just do it. Like take this seriously. Invest in your career.
Those are great tips. Yeah, because let me ask you this. How often do you learn something new in this industry?
All the time.
Yeah, me too. I learn
Yeah.
something new all the time. I just got up another interview and I just learned something new. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. I gotta write this down. I'm like,
Yeah. All the
I'm
time.
learning something new all the time. You're right. Don't think you know as much as you think you do. Don't think you know it all. Don't think you know the
Yeah.
best practices, the right procedures. This, we should all always be learning and improving, always.
Absolutely. And I've taken lots of training over the years. I've been doing this 17 years. I still take training. Like
Wow.
someone will pop up with another type of training on this type of thing. And I go,
Yeah.
ooh, maybe I should do that because you just don't know what you don't know. And
Right.
it's all helpful if this is what you want to do, this is what you want to invest in,
Yeah.
this is your career, like be the best that you can be.
Exactly. I mean, you just said you were going to you're still going to conferences. Yeah.
Yeah.
After 17, 18 years, you're like, I'm still learning. I'm still going to
Yeah.
conferences, flying across the country, spending lots of money to learn because
Yeah.
you're just helping your profession. You're helping your craft. You're helping your career. That's exactly right. That's great. As a signing service, and you're looking at scanbacks, is what's another tip that you'd give as a signing service to the signing agents watching and listening to this?
What's another tip as far as looking through the
Yeah, as a signing
scans?
service owner and looking at scans and seeing what you experience, what's another tip that you'd give? Maybe something, a common thing you see missed or something like that.
Probably one of our biggest issues is right to cancel dates.
Oh, yeah.
Notaries, if they're general notary work, they don't know that they have to work on the right to cancel dates. That's something that they do have to change dates. Most of our docs are not date sensitive,
Uh-huh.
which means they're not dated for the day of the signing.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have to change and go through right to cancel dates. Per diem interest disclosure always confuses new notaries. I do training on that one, whether or not you check the boxes or leave them blank. I go over the amortization with my signers as a signing agent personally. There's just some things that you can do as a signing agent at the table to give your signers more confidence. If you know how to do PCORs, we call them preliminary change of ownership forms,
Yeah.
or the 593. So I can tell when a notary has had a little bit of training, no training, or a lot of training by how they fill out their
Ah,
per diem interest, their PCORs, their right to cancels. And then I would say, as far as a tip, if you're sitting at the table and you're working with a signing service that won't pick up the phone, right, which is a lot of signing
yes.
services, and you're not sure if you do it this way or this way, one of my favorite tips is do it both. So
Oh,
you're not sure, do both signers? Do we have one signer? Do they sign it all? What do we do? Do it both ways. Take their copy from their copy package and then do it both ways. So if you can't get anybody on the phone, you don't necessarily want to drive back tomorrow because they call you tomorrow and tell you have to do it a certain way.
you're
Do
right.
both. Then put a sticky on it and say, wasn't sure if you needed both to sign or just one, so we did it both. Escrow
Mm.
officers, signing services love that because you've covered all of your bases.
Yeah, you get all right. I got a lot of good tips here. Okay. Some of those forms you just mentioned are California specific. The per
Yes.
diem, the P Core, the
Yes.
593. And
Yes.
so if you're in Utah and you're like, oh, I've never seen this before, what Lara is saying is call the signing service and say, hey, you know what? I'm not familiar with this form. Please
Yeah.
help me. And like she said, she'll walk you through it. She'll explain
Hmm.
it. Most signing service will want you to do it right. But just in case they don't answer, or maybe they're getting a ton of influx of phone calls coming in and they don't get to yours, good point. Why not do it both ways? Like, hey, I think it's this way, but just in case it's this way, I'll do both. Just print an extra page of that
Yeah.
and then do it both ways. And yeah, like she said, put a little sticky note. I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. This is not a form that I see often. Let me know if one of these are correct or not.
Hmm.
I mean, so you do the scan backs. And then on the right to cancel, that's you're going to see that on refinances. Maybe give people a little bit more into it. Go a little more detail about the right to cancel.
Yes.
What is it?
Okay.
What date should be on there? And if the date is wrong, how should they correct that?
So a right to cancel is a form that's on a primary residence or a second home for any refinance. If it's an investment property, little tip, you're not going to have a right to cancel.
Hmm.
So sometimes you have a refi and you notice there's no right to cancel. Go look and see if it's an investment property. It'll say on the CD. So any primary residence or second home, you're going to have a right to cancel. The right to cancel dates give the signers 3 days in which to look over their documents and make sure they want to keep the loan. So
Yes.
before we had the closing disclosure, which made everything a lot easier because the signers knew what rate they were getting, what loan they
Right.
were getting, how much they were getting back. People used the right to cancel all day long. They would show up, they would sign the docs, and then they'd go, I don't like this. I don't like these terms. People would sign the right to cancel. I wish to cancel, send it in. The lender has to stop the loan. It's not used as often now, but it's still the signers have a right to look at their documents for 3 days, and the lender's not allowed to fund for 3 days after the signing. So that top date, it says the opening date, not the top date on the document. That's the
Right.
document date. Don't change that one.
Right.
But the one that says opening date, and it has a date. Sometimes it's dated for yesterday and you're signing for today.
Right.
So that opening date has to be lined through by the signer, not the notary.
Mm-hmm.
The signer lines through, initials, and puts today's date. And it can be October 9th, 2025, or it can be 10/9/2025. Either's fine. And then the midnight of date is 3 business days after the signing date.
Right.
Sundays don't count. So if
But
it's
Saturdays do.
Thursday, Saturdays do. So if it's
Yeah.
Thursday, you do Friday, Saturday, Monday night at midnight, and there's right to cancel or rescission calendars floating around. NNA has one
Yep.
that you can look and say, okay, the 3 days is from this date to this date. Just follow your calendar. I keep a picture of mine on my phone. And then the midnight of date, again, the signer's going to line through because it's going to be wrong. They're going to fix it and they're going to initial. If you ever have to change dates or add dates, they must be initialed.
Yes.
If they're pre-printed and they're correct, usually you don't have to initial, but some lenders want you to initial anyway that the signers have seen them.
Right.
So rule of thumb is just get them initialed, even if you
Okay.
don't have to change them. And that's one of those things that I've done at the table. Well, Fidelity doesn't want you to touch them, but UWM wants you to initial them. So sometimes I'm sitting at the table and I go, I don't know what they want me to do. So let's just do it both ways. This
Okay.
copy will initial both. This copy will leave blank, put them both in there, and then off they go. They can pick one or two of the ones
Perfect.
that they want.
This is great. Great. Laura, you have provided so much information here. I really appreciate it. It's been very helpful. I like to always end on a fun note. As a either as a signing service or as a signing agent in your past, do you have any fun or interesting stories that you can maybe share with us?
I have so many.
I
Um, how about a crazy story?
love
I have a
it.
crazy
I would
story,
love
and
one.
it's my favorite crazy story. I had one a couple years ago, and I showed up to the home. I walk in, and she had been very bubbly, boisterous on the phone. I
Okay.
knew it was going to be, a fun signing.
Yeah.
I walk in, the entire house is covered in white trash bags. I
Okay.
can't tell if she has furniture. It's nothing but white trash bags. And I've been in a hoarder's home before.
Yeah.
No smell,
Okay.
just covered. And I went, okay.
Hmm.
And she had two little folding lawn chairs in the foyer, the 3x3 linoleum in front of the door, and a fan box, a floor square fan box that's about this wide at the top
Yeah.
that we were supposed to sign on.
Okay.
Okay. And I said, ma'am, is there any way we could go sit on the table? I need to put oh, no, no, I just moved in, honey. We're not, we need to sit right here. Okay. She had a laptop that had a sermon on high volume, but it was conspiracy theories and it was
Okay.
crazy conspiracy theories. And then
Okay.
she also had it on her phone. So it was in stereo with a 3-second delay. So we got to hear it twice.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And when I asked for her ID, she got into the bottom of her bag and pulled out a crumpled, smashed California driver's license. I've never seen anybody crumple their driver's license, but I had to flatten
Wow.
it out. And she's laughing and screaming and the whole time. And I literally looked at her and I started looking around for a camera. I thought I was being punked.
Okay.
I thought, okay, there's something going on here.
Uh-huh.
Nope. We kept going, scream laughing the whole time, touching me a lot. And I thought, God, is she even coherent to be
Yeah.
signing? She was. We chatted. I made sure we were chatting as I went through the journal on my lap. We did the whole docs on my lap. I would hand
Uh-huh.
her a form. She would, in her hand, sign it, and then hand it back to me. She tried to call the loan officer a couple of times, and I thought, God, this is just, there's no way that loan officer is going to pick up the phone. I know she's not picking up the phone. The whole thing. And again, we've got, this loud, boisterous stuff happening on the laptop. It was just crazy. And then we're done. She's a nurse. I looked at the 1003 as we're signing. She has a job. She's a
Okay.
nurse at the hospital. Okay. We finish, still scream laughing, just okay. As I'm starting to pack up and leave, thank you so much. I appreciate, the signing. Let me know if you have
Yeah.
any questions. Her voice changes. It turns into this, all I can say is like a very masculine man, angry voice. And I don't quite hear what she says, but it's very negative. And it was like, get her out of here, or we are done. And the hairs on the back of my neck went up, and I
Oh, I just
flipped
got
around
goosebumps.
backwards and I walked out because I couldn't have her back to me. It was just an automatic reaction. And I walked out backwards and I went, okay, have a nice day. Okay, see you later. I got into my car and I called a couple of my friends, just screaming. I
Yeah.
don't know what just happened. I cannot explain what just happened. It was the craziest signing. I called my escrow officer and I told her, and I said, I don't care if I miss the signing. I am not going back there. And she was like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Luckily, we were done. It funded, but
Oh,
I
I
don't know
got the
how to
chills.
explain any of
Yeah.
that signing.
I have a question, and you might not know the answer. Did the sermon, was the sermon over, or was it still playing?
As far as I remember, it was still going.
Okay. The
Yeah.
reason I asked was because, I mean, it sounds like a possession to me. You know what I mean? And the sermon was like trying to hold things at bay that was playing. So maybe it was good that the sermon was playing, maybe, but if
All
it
I
was
could
still
think, if
going
it's split
on,
personality,
yeah,
someone was there to sign and be happy and get through it. And then the second it was done,
the other person came
personality
through.
just changed. And I've
Ooh.
never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is an interesting
Yeah.
one.
But for all of you new notaries out there, I swear to God, that's the craziest signing I've ever had in 17 years. And I'm fine. I'm fine. It was just different. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's good.
Yeah.
Laura, anyone that's listening or watching this and they're like, I want to do work for NotaryZoom, how can they follow you, reach you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook group, NotaryZoom, that you can join. Please make sure you answer the questions. I've got about 4,000 notaries in there. We keep it very positive. I don't allow bullying. I don't allow negativity or drama. Just make sure that it's very positive. You can ask your questions. You can feel safe. I will answer most of the questions. If not, there's a lot of great notaries in there that will answer if I can't. I do a lot of training in there. I love the training. I love the networking. Please show your personality so I can get to know you. And then you can always DM me if you want to reach out to me and get to know me. And then maybe we can work together.
Yeah, and it's a great Facebook group. I'm a member of it, and it's great. Like I've referenced it a couple times in this episode, but that's what I was referencing to is your Facebook group. It is a great group and post that you do on there. So I'm glad I'm a part of it. All right, Laura, thank you again so much for coming on, and thank you all for watching and listening to another episode. And hope you got great value as much as I did. I have a ton of notes, and I hope you also wrote down a bunch of notes. I'll talk to you all on the next episode. Bye.